the she camels, 10 months, with young are left untended, when the wild beasts are herded together in the human habitations, when the oceans boil over with a swell, when the souls are sorted out, being joined like with like. How many of you, because I've heard it from you, so I have to ask. You say, gosh, I feel like we're finding each other. I feel like like-minded people are really starting to find each other. How many of you, I'm telling you can read different spiritual books. They talk about pods, reestablishing more soul families coming together. You didn't find this by accident. I'll tell you. You didn't come because Dr. Bob invited you. You didn't. You made this appointment a long time ago. You did. You found, and you will find where it is. So when you start looking at this, it goes on, and it says, when the female infant buried alive is questioned for what crime she was killed. I have to stop here for a minute. How many of you are seeing in the news that when a woman, something's happened to a woman? I'm going to talk about the R word, and then she is blamed. Well, she was dressing scantily. Well, she was drinking in a bar. And then she is questioned for something horrendously being done to her. And in how many countries are the women stoned? Their female parts are cut. So I'm just sharing with you, there's a lot we've already seen. So it talks about that. It says, when the scrolls are laid open, when the world on high is unveiled, when the blazing fire is kindled in fierce heat, and when the garden is brought near, then shall each soul know what he has put forth. So again, we're back to the Quran. The Quran talks about it. It goes on to say, so verily I call to witness the planets that recede, go straight or hide, and the night as it dissipates, and the dawn as it breathes away the darkness. Verily this is the word of the most honorable messenger, endued with power, with rank, before the Lord of the throne, with the authority there and faithful to his trust. And, O people, your companion is not one possessed, and without doubt he saw him in the clear horizon, neither doth he withhold grudgingly a knowledge of the unseen, nor is it the word of an evil spirit accursed. I'm going to stop here for a minute. If you look at every enlightened spiritual being, whether you believe Jesus was the Son of God or you believe he was a prophet, he came and he spoke things that had never been spoken before. And what were the things that were told about him? He's possessed. He comes from the devil. He is this. He is that. Look at Buddha. Look at Muhammad. Look at Gandhi. Look at how many people were said to be possessed. So you look. Verily, this is no less than a message to all the world, a prophet, to whomever among you wills to go astray. Ye shall not will except as Allah. Allah is the word that they use for God, just to let you know. So each culture kind of calls God a different thing. Okay? Allah wills, the cherisher of the world. Stop for a moment. The cherisher. How many of you have ever cherished something? Either someone or something that you felt cherished. That's a strong feeling, isn't it? It is a strong word. Very strong. When you cherish something, it is strong. The cherisher. So we've been talking about the end of times for a long time. A long time. These tablets found in 28 BCE. How many of you know what BCE means? It means before Christ. And it was talking about, let's look. Our earth is degenerate in these later days. There are signs that the world is speedily coming to an end. To an end. Again, fear. Make him live in fear. If the people are in fear, they can't evolve because your consciousness cannot awaken to that vibration because fear holds a dense vibration. So if you're in fear and you're here, your consciousness can't evolve fully and completely. So we've been talking about this 28 BCE. didn't devour the sun. Okay, so we're talking about the sun becoming black again, because if it's devoured, it's definitely not shining bright. So it's devoured, and his brother would eat the moon, causing the stars to vanish from the sky. Again, we're talking about signs in the sky, signs in the heavens. Sky, something happens with the stars, sun goes dark, moon, something happens with. So we're talking about all these things. There will be huge earthquakes. The sea will rear up, and the soil in the sky will be stained with poison. Let's stop for a minute. I have to stop you there. How many of you know that there are unprecedented earthquakes happening? There are unprecedented tsunamis happening. There are unprecedented volcanoes going on. Now it's Yellowstone Park, and all these volcanoes are connected underneath the soil, and they're all starting to spark. Okay? So we need to look and see. We're getting these signs. And the soil and the sky will be stained with poison. How many of you know anything about chemtrails? Woo! Okay. Chemtrails. They go out, they spray barium, aluminum, and over 400 million pounds in your atmosphere, saying that they need to do it for global warming. You have a bright blue sky. All of a sudden you see all the planes going across with everything coming out from the back. It doesn't dissipate in 1 to 3 minutes. It stays. It begins to spread out. Clouds that you've never seen before are formed, and all of a sudden there is rain, thunder, lightning, storms. That is coming down. It's making our soil acidic. You can do the research. I'm asking you to do the research. Please do not take anything that I say here and not look at it. It's going into the soil. The soil is becoming acidic. The soil cannot grow the food. Monsanto says, don't you worry, because we have.
You need to research geoengineering it, find a specific term, because you will find that you're going to find that's crazy, but geoengineering is a pretty simple habits.
GM engineering.
Geoengineering.
Geoengineering. So if you type in chemtrails, you'll get some people that go, oh, this is crazy and this is nuts. But then Monsanto comes and says, oh, we have this seed who's genetically modified. And if you look at genetically modified food, if you start diving down that road, you're going to find a lot of health issues with genetically modified foods. So we're getting where we can't even grow our own food anymore. Because guess what? The sky and the soil is. Okay? The earth will sink into the sea, paving the way for a new utopian world with endless supplies. So that's that belief. Then you go on to the next. All right? And it's, I don't like this word. I'm just going to tell you I don't like the word. Because Laura has tried to get me to pronounce it correctly for a long time. It's not that word. I can't pronounce the word correctly. Okay, you say it.
Zoroastrianism.
Thank you. Okay. So a comet is going to come, it's going to strike the earth and cause the world's metals to melt, burning up the world. At the same time, sinners and the pious will pass through this river of molten metal. Now you think that, and you think, holy moly, I'm human and this skin won't pass through molten. Sinners will have their sins burnt away, and the pious will feel like they're passing through warm milk. Now I just want to pause. Sinners, go back for a second. It's coming up. Sinners will have their sins burnt away. Burnt away. Okay? If you look at the Bible, the righteous and the unrighteous shall inherit the earth. Okay? The righteous and the unrighteous. All right? It will burn away. So flip to the next. Then let's go into the Hindu belief system for a minute. And when we go to the Hindu, it talks about cycles. And this is, the Hindu faith believes that the universe starts out singularly and it expands and grows over a cycle of time into a complete universe. A full universe. And then because the errors of man, it ends up over a cycle of time going back to a singular, and the cycle starts again. Okay? And it's over lots and lots and lots of years that this occurs. Okay? So it talks about these four with purity. It talks, this shows the length of time in the Hindu faith that a day to God, and if you look at the Bible says a day to God is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years to us is like a day to God. So it flip-flops. This again shows that timetable, showing that time really is made up. Time is made up. Time is man-made. Okay? Then it goes on to talk about predictions. And what are the predictions that are going to occur? The 4 pillars of Dharma will be reduced to 1, with truth being all that remains. With truth being all that remains. How many of you know that right now we're getting information that really, honestly, if the United States government had control, would not want you to have? Would not want you to have. I mean, let's look at, you want to look at Edward Snowden, and you want to look, there's a lot being revealed, a lot that it has been hidden for a long time. Let's just say UFOs. For a long time, people were like, UFOs don't exist. Now Obama just comes out and says, oh yeah, UFOs exist. It's not like, it's not true. Now there are people at their TV that are going, what the holy mother of everything is going on? Well, if he came out and he goes, oh my God, there's UFOs, then it would draw your attention that for how many years have we been lied to that there have been UFOs. I mean, the universe is galaxies upon galaxies upon galaxies upon galaxies. If you just use your rational mind, Creator gave you, which is very powerful, you'll know. Does it really make sense that the Creator only made us, yet He made all of these universes, new galaxies, galaxies, galaxies? So now Obama just comes out and says, oh yeah, there are UFOs. Walks on. I have people coming to the store freaking out. They're thinking that we're going to be taken over. I'm like, but they've been here for years. They come and they go, and it's fine, and it's fine. So we talk about that. At the time of chaos, the final avatar, Kaliki, will be presented. Okay, again, the final avatar. Could this be the second coming? Could it be another word, the second coming? Like just a different culture saying a different thing. So it goes on and it talks about that he will amass an army to establish righteousness upon the earth and leave the mind for the people as pure as crystal. The Bible says, do not become a part of this world, but renew your mind. Renew your mind. Renew your mind. Okay? So when you look at the Hindu book, it talks about it. Go on to the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? And it, again, talks about whenever there is decay of righteousness and there is please just say the word. And my mouth is new today. I just put it on. Thank you. Of unrighteousness, that I myself come forth. I myself come forth. Now, if you believe in the Trinity, you believe Jesus and God are one, right? Okay, so if you believe, I myself shall come forth for the destruction of evildoers, for the sake of firmly establishing righteousness. I am born from age to age. Now, if you were here last Soul Medicine Sunday, we went through all the different belief systems, and we talked about Easter, where Easter came from, and then Jesus, and then all the belief systems and the names that they had for that energy of Jesus. Here it says, I am born from age to age. From age to age. So it's important. We're all saying the same thing, using different words to say it. So let's go on to Buddhism. I'm talking about the 7 suns at the end of time. And these 7 suns will appear in the sky. Okay? Each causing progressive run. The first sun, it will cause the rains to cease, and the seedlings and the vegetation, the plants and the grasses and the trees will dry out. Second, the brooks and the ponds will dry up. Third, all the great rivers will dry up. Fourth, great lakes evaporate. Fifth, the ocean. Sixth, the earth will bake. All the mountains will reek with clouds of smoke. And seventh, the earth will blaze a fire until it becomes one massive flame. The mountains will be consumed, and spark will be carried on the wind and go to the worlds of God. All things will burn, perish, and exist no more, except those who have seen the path. This unveiling of knowledge, this evolution of the conscious mind, things have been presented in a way that death and destruction is the only way that this is going to occur. Not so much. So let's talk about some of the signs. We talked about the signs and a lot of the different books. Now let's look to the signs in heaven. What's going on? How many of you know that the 4 blood moons are occurring? This has happened in the past. I just want you to know this. This has happened in the past. 4 blood moons have happened many times in the past. Why should this be different? So let's look at that. So you've got 4 blood moons, right? You're going to have a solar eclipse again here in just a few. What is today? Is that tomorrow? Tuesday. Okay, 29th. Then you're going to have, so we just had a blood moon on the 15th. It was on Monday. I know, because people are going, what is wrong with me? I'm losing my mind. I don't know what's going on. You know, if you felt like you were losing your mind, breathe. Remember when planets line up. Now, I'm going to give you a science for a minute. Everything is energy. We know this. When planets line up in a certain alignment, they complement each other's energy. If they're in line with the Earth, where is that energy coming? It's coming and we're being bombarded, and because we can't see energy, we're like, what is wrong with me? I'm losing my mind. You're not losing your mind. You're integrating a whole new energy that hasn't come around in a long time. Like, it's activating you. It's giving you the ability. How many of you meditate? Just, does anybody notice that their meditations are going much deeper? Much deeper. Because it's an energy. It's, the Creator is going, let me help you. Let me help you. I'm going to line these things up to help you, to help your consciousness. So go to the next one. When we talk about the 4 blood moons that have happened in the past, just letting you know. It happened in AD. Okay? So here, 2 blood moons, an eclipse, 2 blood moons. Here, blood moons. Here, blood moons. Now, go back up here. I just want to bring something to your attention for a minute. This blood moon happened in Passover, and this happened in the Feast of Tabernacle. If you were from the Jewish faith, those are very sacred. Sacred. I mean sacred. Holidays. Observances. Observances is the word I would use. The Passover is, even in the Bible, told us that we should observe Passover every year. Okay? So it happened on Passover, Feast of Tabernacles. Then guess what happened here? Jesus was crucified. Okay? Then you go Passover, Feast of Tabernacles. Now here, this one is on, not on Passover and Tabernacle, it's on a different one. Now this one is, again, on a different one, but always on Jewish profane, Jewish holidays, Jewish observances, profane. I want you to hear this. Go to the next one. So why is this different? Here, let's look. So this blood moon happened right here, war. Feast of Tabernacles, Passover, Feast of Tabernacles. Passover, Jerusalem was captured and brought back to Israel for the first time in over 2,000 years. That is ginormous. And then 2 blood moons. You're having constellations